Welcome to the first ever episode of Growing Through It, and I'm your host, Ryan Rosary, where you come to grow, heal, and motivate one step at a time. Today, I got with me Xavi DeGuzman, who is a very talented actor, comedian, author, which you might know him from projects like Take Two, The 100, Made, Easter Sunday, and so many more. He also hosts a monthly comedy show where he teams up with a guest to co-host while comedians take the stage. And on top of that, Xavi is also the host of the 2 Degrees podcast that he started back in 2021. And he also released a children's book, which I have here, Peeled Fruit, a beautiful story that blends family and his culture together. Thank you, Xavi, for joining me today, brother.
No, glad to be here.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it, man.
Yeah.
I think this is really cool because it's such a full circle moment for me because when you started the 2 Degrees podcast, I was your first guest,
Yeah.
and now here you are.
We've known each other for a while. And
Yeah.
I love how when you introduce me, you're like, and this is Xavi. I have to read my name.
I had to check my notes, I had to check my notes, make sure I got it right. Make sure I got it right.
Nice.
No, brother, I appreciate you coming on and I just want you to talk to me about your journey, man, for starters. How did you get into acting, brother? What was the journey? Because you used to be a fighter.
Yeah.
And then you stopped fighting.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I was fighting, and then it got to a point where, because I was in Muay Thai as well, and Muay Thai, the goal for Muay Thai as a sport was to get into the Olympics. And back when I was in it, that was the real push. I was on Team Canada. There's all the politics with it. And I was deemed like a Canadian athlete. But then in order to still compete, I was still paying for everything, for my flight, for all that. And then I'd be lucky if I can get local sponsors to just drop me $100 to go towards a friggin' $3,000 ticket to go to Thailand to train or whatever. And it's it got to the point where it's okay, there has to be other financial options as I'm getting older and I'm getting more bills.
Yeah.
Because I didn't pay attention in school.
Did any of us really?
But then that was the thing where I was I got into fighting because I chose just not to do homework. It just kept me busy. And so my grades are shit, and I was just always in the gym. And then I picked it up, and I because of my athletic background already, I picked it up quickly, and then I started training with fighters, which led to my first fight. And then through that, all of a sudden I'm at this level where I feel like I should be getting some more money.
Sure.
But it just was nowhere to be found. So it's now all of a sudden, what other options are there for me? I can either open a gym, or I can be a personal trainer, and I really didn't want to do either. And then one of my friends messaged me and was like, hey, I have a director friend, and they're looking for boxers to be in this thing, and it was for Rookie Blue.
Oh, yeah, I remember Rookie Blue, yeah.
I was one of the stunt fighters on there.
Do you remember what episode it was?
I don't remember the episode number, but it was called Fight Night.
Do you remember the season?
Season 1.
Okay, so first season, Rookie
Yeah.
Blue. Sick, okay.
And got on set, and it's cool. This whole environment's really cool. I'm seeing behind the curtain. I'm seeing how it's all done. I'm seeing all the different takes, all the different angles, and then it's I'm here and I'm doing my work. I already know how to fight, so it's I'm doing what I know how to do, but I'm not getting hurt. And then I got the paycheck, and I was like, oh shit, this is a feasible thing now.
Yeah.
And then so I started to get into stunts, and then through stunts I'm on set, and now I'm seeing the principal actors on set, and ooh, I want to talk. I want to do what they're doing. How do I do that? And then that transition was, okay, well, go to acting school and get an agent. And then I was kind of pitted between the decision of, okay, if I really want to take this seriously, I can't train fighting anymore. I can't do that because I have to give all my focus into acting. So I decided to put fighting aside and then started just to pursue acting full time.
Sick. And look at you now. You're just out here killing the game.
I guess so.
So you've done
If that's what you call it.
No, you've done a couple good things. I mean, I remember when we first moved to Vancouver, it was like maybe 2 days or 3 days apart from each other because I think I arrived.
You followed me.
I did
You
definitely.
stalker.
I definitely followed you.
Yeah.
I arrived, I think the 10th, so I think you there like the 7th.
I got there on the 3rd.
The 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I got there between the 7th and the 10th. A few days, not too many days after you. But then right out the gate, you got Take Two.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, man. How you felt in the moment. I remember when you got put on hold and
Yeah.
they were giving out the contracts.
Yeah, I think I even got cast. Like I got the call when like we were all together. I think we were at your
Yeah.
place.
That's right. Yeah.
It was interesting because like landed in Vancouver, and this was, I guess, my last, try at this. I'd say been in the industry for at least a decade since then. When I say I joined the industry, I went union. I went union in 2008, 2009. Because like everybody's like, oh, when I was a kid, I was an actor. I did school plays. I did this. So it's like I've been performing like way before 2008, 2009. But then that's when I became actra.
Yeah.
And then so that was like 10 years later, and I'm like, okay, shit's going crazy in Toronto. I'm not landing anything. There was a big debacle with the agency that I was with that kind of left me with no option but to leave. And so I get to Vancouver, and I was like, all right, this is it. I'm gonna have $5,000 in my account. I'm gonna print off 100 headshot resumes.
Damn.
And this is it. If I go broke, then I just go back to Toronto and I'll just keep working at the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't even, I didn't even have that audition in Vancouver. I'll always shout out my boy Jordan Johnson Hines for this, but before I even went out, when things were kind of looking dry for me in Toronto, he would give me his auditions.
Oh, that's nice of him to do that.
Like, we would film his auditions, and then it's like, hey, do you want to put it on tape? And then it's like, after reading it for him and doing it, like, I kind of get a gist of the scene.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, do you want to turn around, put it on you? And it's like, all right, cool, whatever. So did that, and then sent it to my agent at the time, and then he just, like, told me, stop sending me self-tapes. And I was like, all right.
Hold on, your agent said that to you?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a real... I'll save that story for my memoir. Yeah. But, I can't wait to tell the world this story. But that was an unsolicited self-tape. But I already had my new reps in Vancouver. Jordan gave me the tape and the audition sides. And he's like, yo, put this on tape. Send it to your new guys. And then I did that. And then my new guys sent it in. So my first audition in Vancouver was a callback for that tape.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you did the original audition.
No,
Okay.
yeah. So I didn't even use any of those headshots or resumes that I printed out. So that was like an interesting thing. Because like I dropped resumes off at all over Granville.
Yeah.
All the restaurants there. I think I even went to Winners and like the museum, and I was like, all right, I need a day job while I'm here. And then first thing I get, I was like, oh shit, I guess I don't need this stuff.
And your life changed, bro.
But did it?
At the time it did, you know.
I still take the bus, you know.
Sure. I mean, shit, I still take the bus too. But like
exactly. So it's like, did shit really change?
But I mean, like where you were, because if you want to go into that, you were sleeping on a friend's couch at the time, right?
What am I doing now?
Oh my God, full circle. That's crazy. But like looking at it, how you went from sleeping on a couch to then booking Take Two, and how you at that time your life changed financially for you in such a way, like you were seeing the most money you would ever seen before as an artist. How did that feel? Like, did you feel like you had made it? Did you feel like your world was it? Like Hollywood was next?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's just every actor will go through it too when they get that first big check, when especially they're coming from what I would say quote unquote humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Most money I ever seen, but then it wasn't even about the money. It was about, I guess, thinking that now things are going to change. But it didn't. Like, I had my first series reg, and then all of a sudden, I'm still reading for actor roles and day player roles and stuff like that. And thankfully, like, especially with my team, like, they're able to push me in the right direction, and they're able to get me bigger auditions. But the opportunities itself don't necessarily change. What does change is your competition.
Right. Okay.
So it's like I'd be reading against who I would say would be like no names. And then all of a sudden now I'm losing out roles to like Steven Yeun and Dante Bosco. And it's like, this is my competition now.
Right.
So it's like I'm at the level now where I should be a name, but I'm not quite a name. So I still need that one thing to get me noticed, but now I'm reading against names.
But didn't that make you feel good knowing like, okay, shoot, I'm reading against guys with names like
It did at first until like I stopped getting booked because they're getting booked. Right. And it's like, yeah, they're these guys obviously, but it's like it's weird to put it that way, but it's like I don't feel bad losing out to these guys. That's how it was back then too.
Sure.
Now I don't care whoever gets the role. There's many reasons why the production will pick a particular person, even if they're less experienced than you. They had a reason for picking that person. And
Definitely.
It's like, okay,
yeah,
that's just the game. That's the business.
That's
My
the way it
opportunity
goes.
will come. Yeah.
Now, there, you don't have to go too deep into it, but your agent that you had here in Toronto, they had said certain things to you. Do you want to elaborate on that, please?
So this is back when I was like submitting those unsolicited self tapes. It was weird because like that year when I switched over to that agency, I booked the most that I've ever booked. I want to say this was 2017. And so again, since 2008, 2009, that's how long I've been in it. And this year was the most I've been booking. I booked 6 projects in 6 months.
Wow.
And then I decided to do a play. And then
what play was that? I think I saw it.
This was on Fringe. This was
It was the one where your hand was on the car, right?
That one,
yeah, that was a good play, man.
Which is weird because like the director is also repped by the same agency.
Okay.
So it's like my agent didn't want me to do the play for whatever reason, but still another one of their clients was the director of this play.
That's weird. Why would you not want your...
And so they filled the roster with another Asian who was Korean, didn't look anything like me, and he was going out for all the Asian roles now.
Okay.
And yeah, I saw nothing. There were no... So that's why I started sending unsolicited tapes. And then I sent in a tape. My agent's like, stop sending tape, just be patient. I sent in another tape, like nothing. And then it got to the point where I sent in another tape, and he called me and told me he wasn't submitting me to auditions because I didn't have the it factor.
What do you call the it factor? What is that?
I mean, I kind of understand that statement where it's like the tall, the lead-looking guy.
Sure.
And it's like the tall, good-looking, there's something about this person. They have that sparkle in their eye. And fair.
So you don't think you have that it factor just because you're not as tall as this other artist?
That, he's also, like, super in shape.
Sure.
I'll honestly call him the Asian Tom Cruise, the way that his face is, like, chiseled as well. And
it is a pretty chiseled face.
And I'm just like, okay, I get it. This guy, I can easily see that guy in the lead of a production.
Yeah.
Myself, to be honest, no. But I know I can act the hell out of any role and like make a compelling lead character.
Yeah.
But then that takes a lot of trust in the production. So it's like if the production doesn't know me, then obviously they're not going to take that risk on me.
For sure.
And so that's why I'm just like kind of grinding it one role at a time. But like casting just doesn't have that time to give everybody an option to see everybody. So then they'll just leave it to that one out of however, okay, let's see this guy, let's see this one person. And so it's like he was getting those auditions.
Okay, so agent says you don't have the it factor. How did that make you feel? How did you deal with that?
I left Toronto because it was a good agency. So it was like I didn't want to downgrade my agency. And And so it kind of only left me another option was like, okay, there's agencies elsewhere. And that was the thing where it was like, that would have been it. But then luckily during that time, there was an actor that I worked with on a show. She was doing a stage play. It was a Mervish production, I think. And so she was in town doing that. And I was like, oh, shit, she's here. I worked with her. Who's she repped by again? And then I looked up on her IMDb and then saw that she was repped in Vancouver. And I was like,
Good old IMDb.
There's a market in Vancouver. Okay, let me see. And then reaching out to the top agencies here, everybody had their Asian. And it was at a time where it was like, okay, Crazy Rich Asians hasn't even come out yet. Asians aren't big yet.
Yeah.
So everybody was okay with having their 1 or 2 Asians.
Yeah.
And typically they don't even see Filipinos as Asians. They want your Chinese, they want your Koreans, Japanese. Like they want somebody who looks Oriental.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That's Asian in this industry. And then even with myself, like I'd be reading for Asian, but as well as Hispanic.
You do got a Hispanic look to you.
But then that's the thing where it's like I don't quite blend in with either.
Yeah.
And it's like I reached out to these agencies. They declined just because they already have their Asian. And then I was feeling pretty shitty. And then I saw that Vancouver could have been an option. So I reached out to a whole bunch of agencies out there. And everybody was like, oh, we'd be so glad to see you. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So it showed me that Vancouver is just more willing to give people a shot in terms of just, I guess, what they have to offer in terms of talent as well.
Yeah, so you mixed it up.
Because going out to Vancouver, I already had a solid resume.
For sure.
And I think that's one thing that helped get me in a lot of those rooms, as well as my agent that I had is one of the bigger agents out there as well.
And look at that shift, and then right out of the gate, boom, take 2.
Yeah.
And everything had changed at that point. And then season 1 got canceled. How did that affect you? How did that make you feel at the time? What was going through your head?
I mean,
did you guys film the entire first season?
we did the first season.
Okay,
yeah.
so you did the entire first.
Yeah. I don't know. It was my first thing. I didn't really know how to set expectations for it, especially because like around that time there was another show that was on air that was practically the exact same premise.
Right.
So it was tricky. So a part of me was excited and hoped that we got a season 2, but another part of me was also like, there's a big possibility that this won't go to a season 2. So I was kind of in limbo, not really setting expectations of what was going to happen. So when it did happen, though, I was like, oh, I guess. But then again, this is now with the mindset of, oh, I already got a series regular. This means my next thing is going to be another series regular.
For sure, yeah, of course.
And then, yeah, that didn't happen. So it's like that was the more, I guess, disappointing part of that whole experience was I set these expectations based off of just assumptions, really. There's no other reason why I should be thinking that other than I thought that's how it would go.
I think that's how every actor thinks it's going to go, though. You get the series regular, you get the lead.
I guess, like, to compare it where it's like you're surrounded by like-minded individuals.
Yeah.
So it's like when you first get into the industry, you're surrounded by beginner actors. You're not surrounded by your veterans and stuff yet. And so the longer you stay in it, now you start putting yourself around these other people who have been in the game longer and who I would consider seasoned actors. And so you all have the same mindset towards it. And when you first get into acting, I think we all go into it treating it and structuring it like a 9-to-5 job. If you put in the work, you get recognized for your work, you get a promotion.
Yeah.
You keep doing your work, you get another promotion. And it's only up. The trajectory is only up. As long as you don't fuck up, the trajectory is only up. But then in acting, it's like, okay, cool, series reg, you think you're up here, but then all of a sudden it's like actor role again, day player role.
Right.
Right? You don't maintain.
It's not linear.
Yeah.
Yeah. You went through the process. You understood what it's like to have a series regular. You've now gone from series regular. You've done some feature films. You've also done some very big guest stars on other shows like the 100. Talk to me about that experience.
That was cool.
Yeah. You look like you had a lot of fun with that one.
I did, and I think that was also too because of the cast. The cast was like really welcoming, and they were also young because a lot of that cast too, when they got their big opportunity in season 1, it was also their first real big thing.
Right.
So it's like getting to see them grow and grow all together was actually very fun. And when I first got the audition, um, when I first auditioned for the show, it was for like season 4.
Okay.
And then I didn't get it, and I was like, "F this show, I'm not watching it ever again." Because I was a fan of it. I was watching it when it first came out. I was like, "This is such a cool show."
Yeah.
And then I did the audition, didn't get it, and I was like, "Well, this show sucks." And then all of a sudden, season 7 rolls around. I get this new audition, and then it was cool just like seeing how involved they all were as well with it. Where like Richard Harmon, he was like, before I even got on set, I remember. I got invited out, and then Richard was there, and it was like a band night at some bar, and then Richard was there, and he's like, "Oh man, I saw your audition, bro, yeah,
Oh, for real?
yeah," and I was like,
That's
"Oh,
what's up.
whoa," I didn't know the cast was that involved with like
Yeah.
the whole process and everything, so it was like really cool to just know that they love the art just as much as me as well, and so getting on set, it was really cool, very chill. Got to meet everyone, and it was very welcoming too, because and I think because again they all started together and they made a family around that versus having been seasoned actors from prior shows now coming to converge on one show. It was a real family.
Yeah.
Because they've been together for 7
seasons, yeah.
and so it was very welcoming. Where I've been on sets where you already have this famous person, another famous person, and now they bring them together, and there's a disconnect.
Okay.
They're not quite family.
Yeah.
They're there for work, but like they're all cordial, but they're not hanging out all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I know what
So
you mean
it's
by
like
that, yeah.
it was cool to see that was another kind of environment that could be fostered in the film world as well.
How do you handle the mental fortitude of knowing, like, okay, I haven't worked on a bigger project in this amount of time. I haven't worked in this amount of time. I haven't really gotten this many auditions, or I'm getting the auditions. I'm not getting booked. What do you do to keep yourself busy? How do you keep your mind clear? How do you keep yourself just going?
Well, life just happens. You gotta go with it.
Yeah.
I don't give acting I don't put acting on a pedestal anymore.
What do you mean by that?
When I was first starting off, if I knew I got an audition, there goes my evening's plans. Don't talk to me.
Yeah,
I'm studying my lines.
I know about that. I used to do that too.
Leave me alone until I get this done. Or it's like if I'm on set or whatever, or if I had to study like my lines from before, like I'd give it my full undivided attention. Where, like just recently, where I went to the Philippines and I had to decline a project.
Right.
And the experience that I had, like I can't, like I'm so happy that I did it.
And it was a big project too.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like the experience that I had in the Philippines, it's I got to live life. And that's the thing is I feel like we need to experience more. We can't just dedicate our life to this craft, because this craft doesn't give a fuck about you.
Right.
Like, and that's not the job of the craft, to cater to you and to make you feel good. The craft is just there to just, help other people. It's not for you. You have a job in this art to help others and it goes back to like why during COVID actors were deemed as like essential. Like let them get back to work to give content so people could sit at home and watch, so they're not broody and going crazy.
Facts, bro.
Like that's our job, is we have to be at service. And I think once you really come to terms with that and you kind of let go of the craft, then it's like you can start living life.
Yeah.
And when you're living life and you're going out and you're enjoying the company of friends, it's easy to not care about not getting booked. But then if you're just at home waiting for your email to say that you got booked on something or you got an audition, now you're stressed. You're just sitting and waiting.
For real, bro. I was on hold for something, and I got the email I was on hold like 3 Fridays ago. And like, okay, by Monday I'm going to hear something. And then Monday came around, didn't hear anything. Tuesday, Wednesday, kept like reloading the email. I'm like, shit, kept looking at my phone every time an email came in. Like it's not a great way to live because you're just like putting all this pressure on yourself and like waiting for that opportunity when you should, like you said, be living life, existing and just being. Talk to me about the Philippines, man. Like that must have been such a transformative trip for you.
Yeah.
Very healing, very rewarding.
Yeah, it was cool. Really, because I got to see the Philippines too from a different perspective where I'm there as an adult and without like family.
Yeah.
Like I'm there solo and I'm there doing what I want to do and getting to experience the country for what it is. And it's like, yeah, I feel like I got to see another side of the Philippines too that I didn't even realize existed.
What does that mean?
Like my parents haven't even been to the place that I went to. Like my parents haven't been like to the mountain province area. And it's like now I'm exploring something that my parents have never seen despite this being their home.
Yeah.
And so being there too is really cool where it really felt kind of like Avatar.
Wait, Blue People Avatar or Avatar Last Airbender Avatar?
Last Airbender.
Got it.
Like you go into this mountain province and you just see thriving communities on the sides of mountains.
Yeah.
And it's like for example, you look at in like Collingwood or Whistler.
Okay.
You're not going to have like big thriving communities on the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
Right? You're at the base of the mountain and then the mountain is just for skiing. You go down the mountain, up and down the mountain. You don't live on the mountain.
Right.
And so it was really neat and fascinating to just see that Filipino people are so resilient, and to the point even where the cities themselves on these mountainsides looked and felt preserved in time. Like, and then I learned too where I was like, when the Spanish came to the Philippines, they didn't go into the mountain regions because of how dangerous it was.
Kept their asses out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you have this advanced civilization that was afraid to go into this space, yet you have people living here, families here. And it was really cool just to know that that's part of my history.
Yeah. You also got a tattoo when you were out there too, yeah?
I got this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. You said it was by like this like elder, yeah?
Yeah. So, well, the elder, she gave me like her signature over here because this project like would be taxing on her if she like were to sit down and do that.
Okay.
So I got this from her granddaughter.
Got it. Okay.
And yeah, the oldest living tribal tattoo artist just turned 108 last month.
Big age, 108.
Yeah.
Still tattooing.
Yeah,
She's got it.
She's got it. She's vital. She's vibrant, and like she's walking up and down the mountain that I had to take 2 breaks just to try to get up.
That's crazy. I always hear that. I always hear like people in like mountainous regions, their vigor and their energy is different, man.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Hella different.
Yeah.
That's dope. All right, so got a tattoo, did the trips to the Philippines, but now let's talk about this comedy. How did you get into comedy?
Heartbreak.
You say your
It's
heart
not
got
even heartbreak. Honestly, it wasn't even heartbreak. But like me and my ex, I was engaged and then we broke up, and we broke up in the worst of terms, and I was just angry with life, and so comedy just turned into an outlet where it was there just to get me out of the house because I was just sitting at home just like hating my life that I actually gave time and effort into this relationship that turned into nothing.
Yeah. You felt hurt, bro.
I was hurt.
Yeah.
Anybody thinking of getting engaged, don't do it. Don't do it. Save your money. But then I got back to, because like that was another thing where I was living on the road. Because I bought the moving truck and converted into a tiny home, and then like I was on the road and I was living out of the truck.
Yeah.
And it just got to a point where even my therapist was like, you should go back to where there's family and stuff. So shout out my therapist. Shout out therapy. Go to therapy.
Hear that, y'all? Heal, baby, heal.
Get healed. And then came back to Toronto. And then a friend of mine, this was so random, she's just like, I want to try getting back into stand-up, and then you should come with me. And I was like, whatever. Like, I didn't even think I was going to, like, really do much. I didn't even have a set when I went up. I went to an open mic.
Oh, you just went up
raw. Because that's what I thought comedy was.
Sure,
you just
okay.
talk.
Yeah.
And then I went up, did my set, got a couple laughs. I was like, oh, cool. That was a nice feeling.
You felt validated.
I felt a little validated. And then I want to say it was my, like, third set or whatever. I was like, all right, cool. I see comedians, like, talk about, failed relationships. Let me try and talk about that. And then I tried talking about it, and then I got 0 laughs. The host of the night, because it just sounded like I hated women.
Yeah.
Like, there was no punchline. I thought there was a punchline, but then what I didn't realize was when you only get 3 minutes, you don't really have enough time to tell a story.
Right.
And so it just sounded like I hated women. And yeah, it was an interesting experience. He's never put me back on a show.
Damn.
That's
okay.
It is what it is.
So you went from doing randomly just going up to now crafting a story with the punchline. Talk to me about that process.
So through acting as well, I also became a writer. And when it comes to writing, you explore just a different side of the dialogue. And so now I started writing out my jokes, and I approach it in an aspect of I'm delivering a monologue when I'm on the stage. So when I have a good set, I know I hit all my beats. I know I said it how I've written it. And that was also a fascinating thing to learn too, because like when I first started writing jokes, I'd write the joke, I'd read it over, I'd be like, this is funny. And then I'd go on stage and I'd be like, I don't remember what I wrote, so let me try and wing it. And then what I also do is I record it so then I can see it afterwards. And then, like, if I didn't say it exactly how I wrote it, it wasn't funny.
Okay.
So now when I'm getting laughs, it validates me as a writer.
Ah, okay, I see that. Yeah.
So, because then it's like, if I just treat it like a monologue and I read it and I memorize it, which through the years of acting I can do easily, I just got to give it at least an hour.
Right.
Give me an hour and I can memorize a 5-minute piece, get it off book, and then when I'm getting these laughs, I know I'm getting these laughs because of what I wrote. And it's interesting because it's like I never really noticed how separate my writing brain was from my performing brain.
Okay.
And it's two different arts in a way.
Very different.
So it's like, yes, I wrote it, but that's a different part of me. So now I have to read this thing and memorize it as if I didn't write it.
So basically what you're saying is you got to diversify. You can't just be doing one thing out here in this world.
What I'm saying is if you want to be a comedian, go get with some raggedy ass and break up with her, and you will have a great career after that.
All right, bro. This is such a big feat. You have a children's book. Talk to me about it. I read it. It is a beautiful piece of art, man. I love the mango in it. I love how you tie it in with the family when the character gets older, how it does the full circle moment with his son. Like, talk to me about it, brother.
Yeah, peeled fruit. This was during COVID where I kind of got the inspiration to do it. I've always had this conversation about it too, because especially when I smoke up and I have friends come over, and whenever anybody smokes, because obviously your viewers don't smoke because they're good Christian people. But whenever you do partake in drugs, you get munchies. And whenever people smoke around me, my munchies are fruits.
Ah, okay.
And
Especially, you always have strawberries and
everybody's like,
grapes.
I haven't had fruits in like, because everybody moved out of their house, everybody moved away from mom, and everybody just stopped eating fruit because nobody peeled the fruit anymore.
Yeah.
But it's just something I do. Is just like, if I'm there, like I'll peel an orange for you. I'll peel a fruit for you. And
You never peeled an orange for me.
yeah, because I don't like him.
Damn.
So, but like, it's just something I did, and everybody would always have the same reactions. Wow, I haven't had fruit in so long, and it's just because I guess it's a habit that my mom always did for me, where my mom would always peel fruit, and so now I'm doing this gesture for other people, not really thinking about where it came from. And then during COVID, all of a sudden, like, I'm smoking a lot more and having this conversation a lot more, and it's like, maybe other people are also like having this kind of nostalgic moment when they do eat fruit. And it's like, where does it come from? Where does it stem from? So I really thought about it. It's like, okay, it was something that came from my mom, and now I'm doing this for other people, and it's like I'm passing this on to people.
Yeah.
And so that's what prompted this story. I originally wrote it as a short screenplay, and it was kind of along the lines of Disney's Bow.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
And then when I did that, I was like, who's the demographic that I want for this? And then I decided to turn it into a book, a kid's book. And yeah.
Do you think you turned it into a short film or like an animated series? You think you'd want to do that?
Eventually, yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
And now I have like the IP for it, where it's like, it's something I can walk into a room with and be like, hey, I want to turn this into something.
Yeah.
Versus just like sitting down with people who have the power to make something happen and just be like, oh, I have an idea. Where it's like they want to see something.
For
right?
sure.
So now I have something that I can present. Okay, this is the story that I want to tell.
So talk to me about the process from the illustrations to writing it out. How did that go?
So it's a very island story. And so I wanted to kind of really give that diversity standard. And so I just put out a feeler on my Instagram stories. And I was like, hey, does anybody know any Filipino artists? And people hit me up. And then the person that I ended up picking was a Filipino from New Zealand.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. So we were chatting and had her agent involved and everything and brought her on board. And then even just in talking with the story, she was the one that came up with the images, and it just lined up with everything. Because even with her drawings of the family, like, it was my family that I saw in it, down to like the hair. And like, there's like a lot of Filipinos too, like they'll have like a mole or something, like a small little dot somewhere on their face, and something like that detail. I was like, that's really cool. And so with all the illustrations, that's all her. There was only one image in there that I asked for an edit, and it was just to kind of change the expression on the baby's face during this moment.
Which moment was that?
So there's a moment where the baby meets the grandmother, and then there's this gesture in the Philippine culture where you bring your the elder hand to your forehead. It's called mano, and it's just a sign of respect.
Okay.
And when she first originally drew it, she had the baby just like putting the hand to the face, and the baby was smiling. And I was like, could you make this moment more reverent? And so she closed the baby's eyes and had the baby's head bowing a bit and bringing the forehead, and I was like, perfect, that was it. And so
beautiful moment.
Yeah, such a beautiful moment. And then there's a lot of images where it's like it's the tribal designs. So like on the border of the book, you can see it where those are little Easter eggs too, where it's like, this is also our culture. Because when people see this, first thing they'll think is like Hawaii.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa's tattoo.
Right.
But then it's also our culture as well in the Philippines. So that's one thing that I wanted to bring to the book as well.
Really proud of you, brother. I have to honestly say, like, I've been to your shows. I was at one of your shows last night, which I had the pleasure of just being in attendance and just seeing you do this journey that you've been on with comedy, acting. Like, it's been such a beautiful thing to see you doing it and to see you grow and to see you evolve into the man that you're becoming.
Thanks.
And finding yourself in this world. I think it's such a beautiful thing. Now, I want to end off all my episodes with a big 3 questions. The first question I want to ask you is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, damn. I should have this one already, because I always have these conversations.
You think you just got it in your back pocket, huh?
I know. Oh, man, because, like, the one question that, like, this is a little bit of a digression, but it's like, what's your favorite movie? Like, that, I have that in the bag, like, because I get it on so many interviews. Favorite or superpower? I guess charm.
Okay. And why charm?
Because when you can charm people, you can get anything you want.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just being able to convince people to just be on your side, and I think I have some of that already to a degree just because of how long I've been in the world of performing, where I can provide pretty compelling arguments and kind of just convince people, not in a manipulative way, but in a manipulative way where, you're getting them on your side of things. Yeah. So I'd say, charm.
Good superpower. Okay. What is one piece of advice that you would tell your younger self?
Advice. This is another interesting thing because it's like I've thought about this so many times, and it's like my younger self wouldn't listen to me. My younger self.
You're saying if you went back in time.
If I went back in time and I was like, I'm you from the future, my younger self would be like, get the guy.
I know you're not.
He's crazy.
Time
guy.
travel, okay.
Yo, this guy's trying to touch me. But whether or not he'd listen to me, I think I'd want to tell him that. Man, that's a good question. What should I say? You guys are looking at me like, oh, this guy better give an answer. We're running out of time. I don't know if it's advice, but like I'd tell my younger self that whatever you set your mind to, you have the capacity to achieve it. If you wanted to be a professional sports player, you could do it. If you wanted to be an actor, you could do it. If you want, like, whatever you set your mind to, just because, and I say this like out of kind of the experience, I guess, where it's like, I wanted to be an actor. I think I crushed it. I wanted to be a fighter. I think I crushed it. I wanted to get into comedy, and I think I'm crushing it. And it's like, as long as I just give it the time, like, I've gotten what I've set out to get from it. Yeah.
Last question. What is one goal that you would like to achieve within the next 6 months?
I hate short-term goals, man. In 6 months. I don't know, because, like, it's even out of my control. It's out of my hands. But I guess in the next 6 months, I want my green card to be approved.
Okay, that's valid, bro. That's valid.
So, that's because, like, I don't know. I don't know. Haven't really put too much thought into this hot take, but I think setting short-term goals are stupid.
That's fair, bro. That's your personal opinion.
Give me a short-term goal. Let's see if I can debunk why it's stupid.
What, like a short-term goal
Any,
that I have?
not necessarily you, but like any short-term goal. What's a short-term goal I should have had?
Well, for me, I'd like to reach 165 pounds.
165 pounds.
I'm at about 155 right now.
In 6 months, you want to reach that?
Yeah. I have a very fast metabolism.
Why do you want to hit that?
Because I feel like just based off of my frame and the way that I look, 165, I look solid.
Because then it's like, okay, cool. You hit that goal, and then what?
I don't know. I'll figure out another goal.
Why not already have that next goal?
No, I have lots of goals. That's just a short-term goal for myself personally. I have short-term. I have 6 months. I have a 6 month or a couple 6 months. I have a year. I have a 5-year. I have a 10-year. It's just something that I like to keep for myself, that I'm able to keep track of my progress in life.
I guess it's not that bad to have short-term goals. But I guess, too, with that, where it's just like, I kind of just live in the now. So it's like, I guess a short-term goal for me would be just to get through today's checklist of things to do. And then it's like, because everything changes. So it's like you set this goal of, okay, I want to be 165 pounds. God forbid, what if something pulls you away from the gym regiment you have right now?
Sure.
And you got to pivot.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm already ready for that pivoting, where I want things to happen, but I'm already in that mindset of if it doesn't happen, then it's like I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like when people set these goals, they just set themselves up for disappointment, because especially at our age, you're not reaching these goals. And it's like New Year's resolutions back in the day, and I think a lot of people still live by that too, where it's like, oh, I'm going to do this for this new year, and then come February, like they're not doing it anymore.
That's fair, yeah.
So, yeah, don't set the short-term goal. Just live in today and give yourself a goal without a timeline. Yeah.
Where can people find you? Talk about yourself. Plug yourself. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Follow me on Instagram at XDeGuz. At XDeGuz on all the platforms. TikTok. I have a YouTube thing as well that I'm trying to build and grow. Also, you can catch me live every second Wednesday of the month. I've turned my podcast into a live show now. So it's the format of the show is fascinating to me, at least.
It's a fun show, guys. If you got time and you're in the Toronto area, check it out.
The way I like to describe it is like, it's like Letterman meets Jimmy Fallon, where it has that serious side of getting to know whichever special guest that I bring on. Like on the podcast, I've brought on like Grammy-winning artists, Emmy-nominated artists. I've brought on authors. I've brought on neurolinguists. I've brought on chefs, and it's like whatever industry. I brought on financial specialists as well. So whatever your industry is, like there's a conversation about following and pursuing that, and so there's a serious tone to it. And then now that I turned it into a live thing, I've staggered that interview with some live comedy. I've met a lot of dope comedians in the city, and it's been so thrilling to like give them a space to just try out new jokes and stuff. And it's fun to also do this all in front of a live audience. So do that as well. And then hopefully one day, I don't know, we'll see, but maybe I can like take that show like on tour.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Yeah, so it's like, what I like to say is like, it's every second Wednesday of the month in a city near you.
Xavi, thank you so much for coming on today, being the first person for the first episode of my podcast.
My pleasure, man.
Very, very proud to have you here, man. Very full circle moment. Just
Thanks,
excited
man.
to see what you get up to next.
No, it was really cool. Just like carving time out of my day, because I woke up 9 a.m., got meetings after meetings, and then I had to hit the gym, you know?
Yeah.
And I almost didn't make it here because the traffic was crazy. This is all not true. Ryan said to be here for 2. I was in bed until 1:30.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you made it this far, I look forward to sharing more with you guys. And the only way to grow through it is to go through it.